So now we're doing dividing decimals, section 6.5. Now, I wanted to have you all write that, which was the review of the last two sections we've had. We have a quiz on Thursday. The reason why so many of you did absolutely horrible on your test is because you are not putting to memory the differences in what you have to do with fractions on the test. On this one, I want to make sure that, because we have a quiz Thursday, I want to make sure you don't make those same silly mistakes again. There's two things that we're doing. As you can see, we're highlighting one of those spots. But before we get to that, we did a review and describing the differences between the two concepts. Now, as we're doing this, I'll make it nice and big. Go highlighter there. I'm going to go seafoam green. So it says, review. When you're adding and subtracting decimals, we line up the decimals. That's the major concept of that section. Do you agree? Right? It's just making noise. It is making noise. Well, yeah, because it would be annoying on YouTube. There we go. The major concept of adding and subtracting decimals is lining up the decimals before you start doing that, okay? That's the major concept. The reason why it's a major concept is so you don't make the same mistakes on something else. The other concept for multiplying decimals is take out the decimals, return the decimal places to the product. Now, that's very vague, but I expect you to be able to reference that when you're doing this quiz. And to show YouTube and you all what I'm referring to, here's the notes from yesterday. Here, tomorrow equals the next day of class. Similar rules apply to the word yesterday. That's okay. It's really small. So here was the major concept of multiplying decimals. What it was saying, as we have, oh, we can't really see that. As we have right there that we did from Friday, you have to take the decimals out, the decimals go on vacation, and then you have to come back at the very end with the product and have that many decimal places in it. That's the major concept. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you definitely need to look at your notes from last Friday, because everything moves along. The pacing of this, we have to keep going. Are there any questions about that? Okay, so those are the major concepts of the last two sections. Adding and subtracting decimals, decimals have to line up before you start working with it. With multiplying decimals, you take the decimal places out, then you have to insert them back in after you found the product. Moving along with the dividing. Dividing, when you have 63 divided by 3, it looks like the 63 inside of the house. Let's go this one. We have 63 inside the house because it said first. And to tell you the story that the 7th grade teacher from Liberty taught me, when you say 63 divided by 3, you're saying the number 63 first. So if 63 and 3 were in a race to get out of the rain to a shed that only has room for one person, the 63 would get there first. So if you're having trouble visualizing that,
wait a minute. The little one, that would have been better.
okay, this one here, it only fits one person because there's a whole bunch of storage stuff in here. Okay. So when you're saying 63 divided by 3, these guys, let's see if I can draw some legs. These guys are running. Okay. Then we have 3 here. That doesn't run so well. Okay. So we got these guys running, and since 63 is said first, 63 gets into the house first. That was kind of ridiculous, whatever. But the bottom line is, when you say the number that you say first, that's the one that's inside the cover. Because that's how you do it, and that's why I just explained that silly story about running from the rain.
Did you say running from the rain?
Yeah. No, rain.
Oh, I thought you said rain clear.
Okay. With this question, 63 is the dividend. This is the one that's getting divided. Then we have 3, which is the divisor, which is the one doing the dividing. So the dividend divided by the divisor equals a quotient. Pop quiz, quotient is what? Yes. Beautiful. And what's another one of the things that's an answer to a specific kind of problem, Jace? A sum, what is that for? No. Just adding. The sum is the answer to an adding problem. What else is there? Somebody other than those two. Jake, do you know? Can you think of any other answer word? Product. What is the product? Beautiful. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. Lastly, S squared. Beautiful. Difference is a subtraction problem. Good. We are smart. We're wicked smart. I want you, I see that some of you have done it already, I want you to highlight that section so when you're studying for the quiz and then the future test, you can go in there and be like, oh, this is something important that I thought, and by I mean you, that I thought I should probably memorize. So here it is. When dividing decimals, let's get this nice and in the top for YouTubes. When dividing decimals, the divisor must be a whole number. If it's a decimal, you will move the decimal to the right until it becomes a whole number. Is this highlighter still? Until it becomes a whole number. I underlined that one because that's a major point of a major point. You will move the decimal in the dividend the same number of spaces that you move it in the divisor. This is unique to dividing using decimals. Okay? Yeah. Example 1. Whoa. Example 1. Since there is a decimal, where is my cheat sheet? There we go. Since there is a decimal in the divisor, you will need to move the decimal one place to the right. So what's happening here is, and I want you to do this, what's happening here is we have a decimal there. It's going to move over here because this is the divisor. And you cannot have the divisor be anything other than a whole number. So it has to be an integer. No decimals, no fractions. And because when twins get one thing, another twin is going to be upset if the other one doesn't. Therefore, the dividend has to move the decimal place 1 over as well. And this is where that is represented. You with me? Good. Now it says the divisor is a whole number. Yay! It is important to bring the decimal point straight up. Straight up. So put that decimal point in there right where that arrow is pointed to, please. I just did it in purple. It is important to bring the decimal straight up to the top of the division symbol. This will make sure the decimal point is in the correct place in the answer. Okay? Then from there, we just do simple division. Now, I ask you to show your work. If you were to have shown this division problem right here, like that, and just put an answer, that's showing me that you did some work with this one. Because, why am I going to accept a little bit less on this one? Yeah, it's just half. You guys might be able to recognize that. I hope you would. 84 divided by 42 is just 2. Okay? So the answer is 2. Sure, 2.0. Sure, you can have be 2.0. You can have be 2.0000000 if you want to. You can go on forever. Come on, get out of there. Get out of there, 0. Okay, any questions on that so far? Good, let's continue. Example 2. 0.25 divided by 5. Whoops, no, I said that wrong. 5 divided by 0.25. You will need to move the decimal places 2 to the right for the divisor to change into a whole number. So we're going to take this guy and move it it's right here. And we're going to take it to the same thing for the dividend because we have to do it for both. 1, 2. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Right? Okay, what do we got, Dominique? That's right. We got to add zeros for placeholders. And here's our here's yeah, 4th period I drew a cat there, but people got distracted. Like, kitty. So then it becomes that. And we have to put the decimal point right now. Now we're gonna. This is one that is not as obvious as the other. It's pretty simple, but it's not as obvious. So I actually am going to do this division, which is going to be 2 here, 50. Bring that down. Okay, how many times does 25 go into 0? 0. So answer is 20. Answer is 20. Any questions on that easy one?
No.
Let's make them a little bit harder. Yeah, Jace.
Is the questions on the homework going to be easy? Or, like, just a bit harder?
Typically, no.
And the same
They will be just same difficulty as our in-class practice, though. Now, this one here shows each step on your notes. This next one shows each step in your notes. Now, the confusing part is, on this guy, they pretty much show the exact same thing here and here. If this were mine, that I could have manipulated easier, what I would have done is I would have had this one with the decimal places in the correct spot. So it would be here and here. Oops. Here and here. Okay. That just shows you how to do it with longer multiplication, or division rather. So that's just a review on how to divide. In-class practice. Now, from the story of the 2 people running, I know that this guy is going to be outside. So the divisor is negative 0.8 divided by 42. And I see that there's a negative number here. And I remember, because I've been listening what Mr. Smith has been saying nonstop, whenever we have one negative, something that's being divided or multiplied, what is the solution going to be? Yeah. It's going to be negative, so I'm just going to go whomp right there and put a negative in. Whoa.
Are you recording?
Yes. I can't not make noises. That's the trouble. I try to be like, hey, stop making silly noises, but I can't.
I know.
Because whenever I draw a circle, it's not just this. It's... I don't know.
That's not a circle.
You're not a circle. Okay? He's not. He's not a circle. So the first thing we're going to have to do is we have to move these decimal places so we are dealing with an integer. Because right now we have a rational number. Okay, so there's no decimals in an integer, so it's boom right here. Then I have to do the same thing. Oops. Then I have to do the same thing with this guy. Move it over 1. So we have.
Why didn't you move it over 2 times?
Because I needed to just make this 0.8 into 8, so it only needed to go 1 spot over. The question was, why didn't I move it over 2? That's been a very common question for today. Yep. I only need to move it over so I have a whole number. Okay? I only need to move it over as long as I have a whole number. So now I'm going to rewrite this. Negative something. 8 divided by 420.
Do you always need to rewrite this?
I do want you to rewrite it so you don't make any mistakes, or, more importantly, you can see where you made the mistake. So we have 5 here. That would be 40. Goes down. Oops. Okay. 2. 16. 4. Down. 5. So our answer is y equals negative 52.5. Yeah, you should be happy you got it right. Brag. Be happy that you got it, not necessarily brag. It's like, haha, I got it right. He's being happy that he got it right. So that's the correct answer for that guy. Negative 52.5. Next one. 0.9 or 9/10 divided by 63 hundredths. 63 hundredths. I want you to set that one up right now and then pause. Set that one up, please. Let's make sure that you're doing the divisor and dividend correctly. Set it up and then pause. Or number 2. Set it up and then pause. So, if you have this, you have it set up correctly. Okay? It would, yeah. You wouldn't be marked off for it because it's the same, but I do want you to know that it's not the end of a sentence and then starting words. So, it does take up space. Drawing that circle 0 is just so hard. Now, I want you to work on this one. If you get stuck, glance up at what I'm doing. But if you want to challenge yourself to see if you can get this, don't look up here.
I'm not even done with it yet, but I just wrote down 11.
Good. I hear a lot of yeses. I see a lot of triumphant hands, fists in the air. A couple of fist bumps. Good smiles. Any questions on this one? All right. Good? Blake, we good? Okay. All right, number 3. Number 3. Número 3. Yes.
Do we have to put x equals?
Yes. I do want you to have x equals because it was asking you, or it was telling you to, as it shows here. Okay? All right, next one, same deal. I'm going to do it up here. You do it on your sheet. Do not look up here until you're done this time. Hey, this. Let people finish. Let people pick up their pencils. My knees pop every time I go down. Guess I should do. Now this little explosion glob there is just me making notes to myself because I want to make sure that I don't make a mistake. Now, how many of you got 17? None of you? Huh. Here's a common mistake. This is also important for how many problems you guys got wrong where you assumed because you did something it has to happen every time. Remember, with the divisor, which is this, with the divisor, you have to have a divisor that is either a positive or negative integer. It's already a negative integer as it is, so we don't have to mess with any decimal points. That one was tricky. Okay? I was doing a British accent earlier today. I'm not too good at it. Come on, get out of there. All right, this one has a little bit more division. So, same situation. Please do number 4. Do not look up here until you are done. If you get stuck, you may look up here. Okay? This one is usually a multiplication issue and not a concept issue. Yep, you go ahead and start it. Start it. Oops. Goes into 217 9 times. 9 times 24 is 216. Does not go into 10. Times 24 times 4 is 96. Any decimal points? 0. 24 goes into 60 2 times. Which is 48. 12. 24 does not go into 12, so I have to bring this guy down. 0. 24 goes into 125 times, nice and easy. Which that ends up being 0. Good things to have zeros. And that's going to be the end of the YouTube video. That's how you divide decimals. Key points: make sure the divisor is a full number, a whole number, either positive or negative integer. Goodbye.